Page 275, the cosine law. And this law is also to be used for any oblique triangle. You can write this law in two different forms. This is the first one. Let's say that this is your triangle, first of all. This is an oblique triangle with no angle equal to 90 degrees. And you label the angles as A, B, and C. These are the angles A, B, and C. And this is side C, this is side A, this is side B. And this is how you write the law. You write it as cos of A, cos of this angle, is equal to B square plus C square minus A square divided by 2 times B times C. Well, you will be given a formula sheet. You don't need to remember this law, right? You will get a formula sheet and you will have this law on that. But still you need to know how to use this formula. Okay. Now this is just for cos A. You can write this law for other angles also. Let's say you want to write this law for cos B, cos of angle B. How will you write that for cos B? Just look at the pattern. What do you see on the right hand side of this? When this is cos A, you see that side A is subtracted. The other two sides are added, right? Mm-hmm. And in the denominator, the multiplication is just for these two sides that are added. So looking at the pattern, for angle B, you know that the subtraction will happen with the B square, just like it happened for A there. When angle was A, side A was subtracted. So when angle is B, side B will be subtracted. The other two sides will be added. So you will have A square plus C square here. Just like here you had B and C. Because you used B already, the other two sides will be added. The square will be added. And then divided by 2 is going to be there. And because you added side A and C there, so you will write A and C here also. Right? Similarly, to write this law for C, cos C, what will be subtracted here? Because angle is C, so the subtraction will take place for side C square. The other two sides other than C, that means you have A square and B square, that will go before subtracting C square, and the denominator will be 2AB, just like these two sides A and B. So these three laws are called the cosine laws for angle A, B and C. Again, you don't need to remember, but you need to understand the law. You will have these things available to you. And you can use this law again to find the angles, or you can use them to find the sides or whatever. There is another way to write this law. Let's do that also. You will have 6 different things to remember. Now from this you can get A square is equal to B square plus C square minus 2BC cos of A. The same law can also be written in this form. So sometimes you will need this format, some other times you will need this format. But again, this will also be available to you. A formula sheet will be provided, and this will be on that formula sheet. From this, you can write B square is equal to A square plus C square minus 2AC cos B. And from the third one you can write C square is equal to A square plus B square minus 2AB cos C. All these formulas are called the cosine law. They are all the same thing, but they are used for different stuff in different pattern. Okay. Let's look at one example, and you will now see how to use these formulas. Okay, this is example 1 on page 276. The triangle is given as this. This is angle. This is angle B. This is angle A, and this is angle C. Angle A is given as 43 degrees. This is 43 degrees. You don't know what is angle B and what is angle C. The side length C, this one is given. This is 5.2 centimeter. And the side length in front of angle B, which is small b, it's also given 7.9 centimeter. This is side length A, we don't know it. How much is this? Because this is in front of angle A, it will be called A. Okay, you have to find this A. How much is this? How much is the side length A? So, which formula would you use? These formulas should be used to find angle. To find the angle, you should use one of these three formulas, because A is an angle, B is angle, C is angle, right? Whenever the question is to find the angle using a cos law, you will use one of these three formulas. These three formulas are to be used to find side length, because A is a side length, B is a side length, C is a side length. Right? Now you will have to decide whether you want to use the sine law or the cos law, because you will see that some of the problems will be solved. You can solve them by any method. You can use the sine law or cosine law, right? It's up to you to decide what law you want to use. Whatever you feel comfortable with, you can use that. If you are comfortable with sine law and you can solve the problem with the sine law, go with that. If you can't solve with the sine law, you can use the cosine law, right? But first try the sine law. If you can solve a problem with that law, go with that, because it's easier to use the sine law. Can you solve this problem with sine law? Can you solve this with the sine law? You have to find A. So how will you write this? You can write it as sine of angle A divided by side length A. Sine of this divided by this is equal to, you can use this or this. You can use, if you want to use sine C, you can write it as sine C over C. So how many things are known in this formula? Is angle A known? Yes, yeah. 43 degrees, you know this. Do you know this A?
No.
No, so this is to be calculated. Do you know angle C? No, so that means this is also an unknown. Can you use this formula now? There are two unknowns in this formula. You can't use this formula, right? Okay, try a different thing. Instead of using sine C over C, If you want to go with sine B over B, will that work? Do you know angle B? Do you know angle B? You don't. So this is also an unknown. So even if you want to use this with that, you can't use it because there is an unknown here and an unknown there. You can't use a formula with two unknowns. You can't use sine law in this case because you have two unknowns when you use the sine law. Right? Okay, so you will have to go with the cosine law. Now because we have to find the side length in this case, so you have to use one of these three formulas. The first one, because this calculates A, right? So write down this formula, which is A square is equal to B square plus C square minus 2BC cos of A. Write down the formula and then put in the values. A square is equal to, now B is 7.9, so this is 7.9 square plus C is 5.2 square minus 2 times B is 7.9 times C is 5.2 times cos of angle A is 43. So you will need to use your calculator to solve this.
Times it by 2 because we're supposed to square it.
This one is times, this is square. They are different. Square means you multiply 5.2 with 5.2. This means you multiply.
Why do you have the 2 times before 7.9?
Because it's in the formula. See the formula is 2BC. It's 2 times B times C. So it's 2 times B times C. Okay, use the calculator to find it. If your calculator can't handle it in one step, this is what you do. You will first square it, write it down, square this, write down, then find this thing, write down, and then add the first two numbers and subtract the final number. If your calculator cannot do this in one step, but if your calculator can handle it in one step, just enter the numbers and you get the result.
What's the square sign?
There should be x square button on your calculator.
X2?
Yeah. And you just press it. You will see the square. Plus. $29.36.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is a square. How would you find a from it? If a square is 29.36, how would you find a? Sorry?
That negative thing?
No. To convert this into a, you need to find the square root on that side. 29.36 square root. You have to remember this. This will come again and again. A square is equal to this. A will be equal to the square root of that number. 29.36 square root it. What's the square root of 29.36?
Do you go to that x2 again?
No, there is another button with the second function. You press the second function button first, then you press this one, the square. You don't enter the number first, that will be done after. Start with the 0. Second function. No, second function. This button. And then enter the number. What's the square root of 29.36?
5.418.
5.418 can be written as 5.42. 5.4 or just 5.4 because these numbers got just one decimal place, so you can just keep it as 5.4. So A came out to be 5.4 centimeter. Have you got the same answer? Different?
Taurus.
Yeah, then square root it. Because this is a square, you have to find the square root also. I suggest don't use this one. Learn that calculator, how to use that, because there are less chances of making mistake in using that calculator. This takes more time. There are more chances of making errors. Right? It's pretty cheap calculator, just about $15–20. You can buy one from Walmart and practice on that calculator so you become familiar with that.
We're gonna need a calculator like this for the exam, right?
Yeah. So 5.4 centimeter is your answer. That's the right answer. Okay, let's do one more. Build your skills problem 1A on page 276. Do you need this? Okay, so this is page 276 again. This is build your skills problem 1A. Triangle is given like this. This is angle P, this is angle R, this is angle Q. Side, this side which will be, if this is angle Q, this will be small q. This is 4.3 kilometers. And if this is angle P, this side will be small p, and this is equal to 6.5 kilometers. This side is R because it's in front of angle R, so you call it small r. You have to find it. Angle R is given as 61 degrees. Okay, now because a side length is to be calculated, not an angle, so would you use this formula or this formula? These are to find the side length and these are to find the angle, right? So you will use one of these formulas. Which one would you use? Because we don't have A, B, C, we have P, Q and R there. Which one would you use? You can use any of them. You just need to change these letters. From A, B and C, you need to change them into P, Q and R, right? So if you write, because see, if A, B, C are in order, when you say A, B, C, A comes first, then comes B, then comes C. And if you say P, Q, R, what comes first? P, right? So that means your A should become P, your B should become Q, and C will become R. And because you have to find R, that means you will use the third formula. Because when you say A, B, C and P, Q, R, C is same as R. So use this formula, right? But you need to rewrite this formula Because C is your R, so you can write this as R square. And what is your A? When you say A, B, C and P, Q, R, A is your P. So this becomes P square and B is Q square minus 2. What is your A?
B.
P. Your B is Q. And then cos of, what is your C?
R.
R, capital R, because this is angle, it should be capital R. So you got a formula for PQR from this. So this is the way you will manipulate the things. R square is equal to P square plus Q square minus 2PQ cos R. Rewrite that formula there. R square is equal to P square plus Q square minus 2PQR, sorry, 2PQ cos R. Don't forget this thing, with the sine and cos, the letter will always be capital because this is an angle. So now put in the values. R is to be calculated, so keep it as R square. Small p is 6.5, so p square will become 6.5 square. Q square is 4.3 square and minus 2 times p is 6.5, Q is 4.3 and times cos of angle R. Angle R is 61. So you will calculate this to find R square. It's not going into my video actually, so. Okay, I'll just shift it a little bit to this side. I will write it here. R square is equal to P square plus Q square minus 2PQ cos R. I'm just transferring this thing over to here, and then I'm going to enter the values. R square is equal to P square, P is 6.5, 6.5 square, Q is 4.3 square, minus 2 times P is 6.5 times 4.3 and then times cos of 61 degrees. So find this, that will be your R square. How much? 33?
Yeah.
33.639. Okay, let's take it as 6. And how would you find R from it? If R square is 33.6, what is R equal to? You take the square root. So this is 33.6 square root. That will be R. Yes, 5.79?
Yeah.
5.79. Okay, we just need one decimal place. So 5.79 can be written as 5.8 kilometers. So R came out to be 5.8 kilometers. I want you to try the next question on the next page, 277B.